If you go look at the comments under my videos, you'll see basically two kinds of comments. And one is the kind that comes from people who are very stuck in their early trauma. The second kind comes from people who are actively recovering. Now, the first kind is so common, and it's how most of my students come to me. And it's true that a lot of us were conditioned to talk about what happened to us. What happened? What happened? What was the family dynamic? How did we feel when that happened? And it's real, and it needs to be talked about at some point as part of your healing. But if you're like me, talking about other people and the past only went so far toward making me feel better. It helped me wake up. It helps to know why we struggle. But then what do? So in my own healing, the real progress kicked in when I was able to shift the focus off the past, off of other people, and onto my own symptoms. The thinking, the behaviors, the emotions that were driving me now, because that's where healing is actually possible in me right now. And even though my message, it's like a broken record, I know I say it all the time, I talk about this, I still get a lot of comments and emails from people who are on that past-focused, other people-focused approach. And if it's gone on a long time, they're quite often stuck in a lot of pain and not seeing any hope. And in case you're in that group and you just haven't come to one of my courses yet, or my coaching, or one of my Zoom calls, I want to tell you how to get out of that stuck group and into the other group, the group that's not stuck. They're healing. They're changing their lives. And I'm going to describe how to do that. So first of all, I'm not a doctor or therapist. I'm someone who recovered from my own childhood PTSD. And I've learned from both my own experience, from the various mentors who have helped me along the way, and from working with thousands of people who went through neglect and abuse in their childhood who come here for support. And I've had the honor and the joy of witnessing many, many people have amazing breakthroughs that have changed their lives. And I've witnessed other people stay miserable. They've stayed stuck and disconnected from people. And I learned all along, all these years I've been doing this, I've been watching like, well, who recovers? What are they doing? Who gets stuck? What are they doing? And if you're miserable and not progressing the way you want to, the way you need to, I want you to stay with me here through the end of this video so you can see what I'm seeing as I hear from all the people in the channel, in my online community who engage with my content about patterns that are helpful and patterns that really just make people who want to heal feel miserable. Okay, so I notice two basic self-concepts out there. The first is what I notice in people who are working hard to figure out the problem caused by their experiences and to find the solutions that seem to help them get better. Now, not everything they've tried may have been helpful, but they're active in this project and noticing where they get lifted up and where they fall short. And when they comment, they'll tell you these little nuggets of wisdom. They'll say, you know, I tried X, I did Y, I did Z, and X was horrible. Y was okay, but Z was amazing, and that's what really helped me. And there are clear signs that someone is healing too, that they get along better with people, they feel more at ease in groups, or when they're alone, and their talents and gifts start emerging and filling up their lives with purpose and hopefulness and a helpfulness for other people as well. And they'll begin to tell you that. So for this first group, they're subscribing to my channel because, and this is what they tell me, it's practical, it's solution-oriented, and it's based on not just theory, but real experience that they can relate to. They feel seen, they feel not alone anymore. I love that. I feel that way too. And for people who are having a breakthrough in their healing like this, it is so exciting to try out new tools, new ideas, and see if there's something in there that they can use. They want inspiration. They want to hear how other people heal. They want action steps. They're ready to go. Now, you can tell I'm very fond of this group, right? I also love the second group, but these are the folks where the breakthrough hasn't happened yet. They're good people. They've worked really hard on their healing, and a lot of them are knowledgeable about the treatments out there, and they've tried a lot of them, but the healing hasn't come yet. And so this group is really, really discouraged, and they come to feel helpless and hopeless, and you can see it in the comments they write. Now, deep down inside, they've stopped believing that healing is possible for them. And all that leaves them, and you see it in their comments, is bitterness. So people who are going through this will have a lot to say about things outside of themselves, family members, exes, society, the people who said they would help them but couldn't or wouldn't, anybody who made them feel unimportant and unseen and unloved. And that's all real, and I know it hurt them. People in this state of discouragement can tell you very clearly what's wrong with all this, what ought to change, and what their pain is like. They're very, very in touch with their pain. And most of us have been there. That's part of it, right? For all of us. But this second group, this discouraged and stuck group, what's also clear is that they have a very vague or non-existent concept of themselves, of what they would be like without that emotional pain. The pain becomes everything, as if it's who they are. And so they can't see themselves in a different future state where things have changed for the better. They can't even imagine it, what they might be like, what day-to-day life would feel like if they weren't trapped inside their own symptoms. So that's what I mean by stuck. Now, getting stuck in pain and isolation is a very traumatized thing to do. It happens to everybody sometimes. But if you want to break out of that, you have to do what I call breaking the wheel. And what I mean by the wheel is the churning, negative thinking and emotion states that go round and round with us. The blame, the obsession with people who hurt you, the struggles, the failures, the ways that you were never accepted or seen, and the stories that you told yourself over and over about why you are the way you are. And it's not that these stories are not true necessarily, but if we can't stop the spinning, the wheel just gets stronger and faster. And it's like a centrifuge, right? Something spinning that throws off and scatters everything that comes near it. It throws off people who love us. It throws off wonderful opportunities. It throws off financial security and joy, right? All gone. And the wheel is very seductive at the same time, and that's why I use this metaphor. You can't just slow the wheel down. You don't ask it a lot of questions or analyze the trajectory of everything that's flying around the room. You just have to take a big metaphorical stick and shove it in there and break that wheel. And don't worry, the wheel's made of air, and when you break it, the whole thing evaporates. It's not going to hit you in the face with fragments or anything. It just evaporates. It's gone. It's like waking up from a bad dream. You thought the wheel got the better of you, but it didn't. And you thought it protected you, but it actually just kept you stuck in pain and made you see nothing but helplessness. But you know what? You're not helpless. There's a whole wide world of experiences out there if you can get a little breathing room just to get started from that cycle of fear and anger and analysis and diagnosis and blame and then fear again. Thinking and talking about this stuff doesn't make it go away. It goes away, and remember, all you need is just a little bit of breathing room. It goes away when just for a moment you can just release the story. Open yourself up to a fresh and new experience of yourself and your capabilities in present time. The focus needs to come off of time past and other people and onto the only thing you can heal, which is yourself. And the knowledge that right here, right now, through practical steps, you open the door to that healing process by changing your mental state. Not helpless, hopeful. And for there to be hope, you need to have a vision, an ideal. You need to have a belief that healing is possible inside your own healing, whether or not other people change, whether or not circumstances change. This is the crucial sign that someone is on a good path. They recognize their own agency. Do you know that term? They begin to see choices that they can make, even when CPTSD puts nothing but hard choices in front of them. You always have a choice, and despite the symptoms you have today, you can move one foot in front of the other toward the healed life that you deserve. Now, you can choose to learn a new way to respond to the inevitable stressors and hardships of life. They will never stop. Life's going to keep throwing this stuff at you, but you can change. It starts in here. It starts in the way that you regard the possibility of your own healing. Can you see it? Do you believe it's possible that things could be better and easier in the future than they are right now? And are you willing to make some changes, starting with the way you talk to yourself about your trauma? Because if you're telling yourself that you're hopelessly screwed up, then whether you mean to or not, you're disconnecting with your life and all the people in it. People generally have a lot of compassion, but when they sense that negative wheel is spinning, it's like a hum. You can feel it in other people, right? And it makes you want to pull away. So it ends up isolating you when you go there. The very thing you're longing for isn't happening for you when that wheel is spinning. And you're like, why can I not get some support? Why doesn't anyone believe in me? Can't they see that I need some help? And that is a really hard place to be. And worst of all, that spinning wheel of negative ideas about yourself blinds you to who you really are, to all the good things that you're capable of bringing to this world. Your life is real. Your life is important. So how do you even begin? And this is one of the reasons childhood PTSD is so hard, is because it can make even little steps just seem overwhelming. And God forbid, there's a whole list of things that you need to do and you know it. It can be paralyzing. But if today you can just do one thing, I'll keep it really simple for you. Just get it into your mind what it will feel like when your PTSD reactions to life are reduced. You want to give it a try? Let's take a minute and I'll walk you through it. Imagine you're in a stressful situation. You're making a mistake at work, or visiting your family, or getting your feelings hurt by a friend who lets you down. Pick something that's both hard for you, but also that's likely to happen at some point in your future. It's realistic. Now, remember what it's like when your CPTSD triggers start firing up and that wheel starts to spin. Here it goes. And you start getting dysregulated and you start reacting in the old ways you hate. You feel tight, your heart races, you want to lash out, maybe you start getting numb, and you get scared that that same old part of you that always comes out when you're triggered is going to happen one more time, okay? Now, let that go. Now, imagine you're in that situation, the bad thing happens, but now your PTSD symptoms are 50% less. You feel a little rise when you're triggered, but it doesn't go over the top. You don't lose control. You still have choices about the words you say, your facial expression, the harsh thoughts that are going through your head. You can see them, but you can decide not to say anything in the moment. Would a 50% reduction in symptoms change how that all turned out? Okay, probably, right? Same situation, but this time let's take the symptoms down a little more to say 20% of what you're used to. What would that be like? The bad thing happens, you feel it, it hurts, but it doesn't carry you away. Would you be able to express yourself better? Would you be able to stay present and keep your choices? Could the relationship that in the past would have blown up in your face instead survive without damage, even though something hurt your feelings? Would it make a difference in your life if you could do that long term whenever stressful situations come up, right? Would strength in this area allow you to change some of your circumstances? Would it be easier then to make friends with people who fit you a little better than the ones you have right now in your life? And if that were all going well, could you imagine other things going well? Your relationship with a partner, your career, your physical health, your ability to share your gifts with the world. Well, now you just joined the ranks of the first group I mentioned. That's how you do it. The ones who can see, imagine a better future, and the ones who are more likely than anybody else to actually make it there. It starts by allowing yourself to believe that you're capable of changing your life. So if you can let that in today, you can sit with that or you can take more steps. I've got courses you can check out in the links below in the description section. If you're only ready for one small step, try this. Stop telling yourself the terrible story of your life. You break the wheel when you believe and connect with a better vision of yourself and start taking action on it. You can change. And if you need some reminding that you really can heal, I've got this video lined up for you right here, and I will see you very soon.